Irreverent, entertaining, cool. You're listening to LA Talk Radio.
You're listening to Question Reality with Priscilla Leona, right here on LA Talk Radio.
Hello, and welcome to Question Reality. I'm Priscilla Leona, and I'm producer and host of this show, and we are coming to you live from Los Angeles, California. For 10 years, we have been providing our audience with entertainment industry career advice. So this show is for you if you are questioning your career reality, pursuing a career in show business, obviously. Now, the guests on this show include Emmy winners, Grammy winners, Tony Award winners, reality TV stars, producers, directors, casting directors, talent managers, actors, singers, comedians, writers, PR agents, screenwriters, script supervisors. We have stunt people, entertainment lawyers. Oh my gosh, if they're working in the entertainment industry, they are coming on this show. I will lasso them and rope them on just to make sure that they come on and give you tips, advice, and resource information on what it takes to make it in show business. Now, if you missed any of our shows, here are the 3 ways that you can listen to past shows. Number 1, go to our archive page, which is on the latalkradio.com website, and you search for the title of our show, which is Question Reality. Number 2, you can go to iTunes, the Google Play Store, Stitcher.com, and we're under the podcast section. And number 3, we would encourage you to download our free mobile app. And again, you can get that at the App Store or the Google Play Store. And when you download the free LA Talk Radio mobile app, please make sure that you explore all of the other shows that are on LA Talk Radio. We have a ton of super fun hosts discussing really exciting and informative topics. So there is something for everyone on LA Talk Radio. And finally, if you want to be a guest on our radio show or refer someone to promote themselves, their products, or just basically help listeners with sage career advice, we are currently booking for 2019. You do know we're always booked 6 months to a year in advance, but this year I have decided to change that up a little bit. We have a wait list, but what we're doing is we're not booking so far in advance, because what I found was by the time our guest was scheduled for the show, they were either on tour in a foreign country, they started a film, and they're in Iceland or Fiji or some other remote place, and they couldn't do the show. So we are kind of keeping it at 6 months in advance. So in order to do that, go to our official website. Now, that's not latalkradio.com. That's questionrealityradioshow.com. questionrealityradioshow.com. And that tells you who is scheduled for the next 6 months. Okay? And make sure you go to the contact link. A lot of people get a little confused when they go on there. I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory, but just make sure you submit via the contact link. Now, for the exciting part of the show, what you've been waiting for. All right, so when I met this wonderful publicist when I was at LA Talk Radio, doing an interview for Max Tucci, I met this publicist named Anka, a lovely woman, just loved her to death. And she had told me she had some clients that I might be interested in. And when she told me about the guest today, Jonadine. I wish we could have sound effects for that name. Jonadine. I'll do my own sound effect. I pulled him up, obviously, and I started doing my research to write the interview questions. And oh my God, well, first of all, I thought I was going to have to get 2 extra fans, because this guy, he's so beautiful. Girls, you got to look him up now. Go right now on Instagram. He is at it's JAN.UDDIN. And then he's on Twitter at IMJANUDDIN. Beautiful man, so talented. Okay, so talented. I want you to follow him on Instagram. I want you to follow him on Twitter. Well, once you see him, you're going to go, I'm going to follow him anyway. Probably, but just don't track him down and stalk him and try to follow him. Then we're going to get into some trouble. But make sure you follow him and help to promote him on the social media sites. But let me tell you a little bit about him. He is of Bangladeshi descent, and he was born in, you know how they have all these cool names in England, right? He was born in Stoke-on-Trent. I love that. Stoke-on-Trent, Staffordshire, England. And he moved to London when he was 19 years old to pursue and receive a certificate in drama from the Drama School of London. And John can be seen in a variety of films and television shows and is probably best known for his role on the BBC soap opera What One, for like 11 years. I've been telling you what's my favorite soap opera, people. EastEnders. Yes, he was on there. And some of John's past projects include Boogie Woogie alongside Gillian Armstrong, Alan Cumming, who everybody knows I am obsessed with, and Christopher Lee. He was in Shank, Day of the Falcon with Antonio Banderas, the lovely. Lies We Tell with Gabriel Byrne and Harvey Keitel. Fantastic actors, incredible actors, some of my favorites. And recently, John is starring as Tariq in the film Cliffs of Freedom, which just opened in theaters on March the 1st. And this movie was inspired by historical events. I am a huge lover of all movies that are based on true stories or historical events. I love them. Can't get enough of them. And this is such a film. It is a timeless romantic story of bravery and faith between a Greek village girl and a Turkish Ottoman colonel. During the dawn of the Greek War for Independence, I have one of my best friends, Spirula, is of Greek descent. And so I really have a strong interest in this particular subject because she was telling me and her grandparents told me of many, many stories that was going on through the time of the Greek War for Independence. So I have a kind of a little soft spot for this film. I want to have you go to the website and check out the trailer. It's cliffsoffreedomfilm.com. cliffsoffreedomfilm.com. And again, please support John's Instagram at JAN.UDDIN and on Twitter at I am John Uddin. That's it. And without further, let me tell you just one more thing about this. Okay, so what you're going to be excited about, and I'm going to let John tell you himself, but I had to throw this in. Okay, so the cast includes, I could not believe it, some of my favorite actors of all time. Who knows Patti LuPone? I do. She is also in this film. Tony Award winner Patti LuPone. She plays, I believe it's pronounced Yaya, YIA. We'll have John correct me if I'm wrong. There is, it also stars Oscar winner Christopher Plummer, and I believe he plays the character of Thanasi or Thanasi. Again, we'll have John correct me. Billy Zane is in it. He's one of my faves. He plays the character Christo. And Lance Hendrickson, who doesn't love him if you're a sci-fi fanatic? He plays old Dimitri. And again, we have John Uddin playing Tariq. And he's playing alongside the beautiful, oh my gosh, is this lady beautiful? Now, I had not seen her before, so I'm very excited to see the film. She's gorgeous, and boy, she really commanded, when I watched the trailer, she really commanded my attention. Her name is Tanya Raymond, or Raymondi, and she plays the character of Anna Christina. So again, please, if you have not, go to the website, find out where the film is playing, and please go out and support the film. I think you're going to love it based on the trailer. I love it. And actually, it's based on the story Daughter of Destiny, just in case people like the screen adaptations of movies. And real quick, before we talk to John, it was directed by Van Ling. And this guy, Van Ling, has an incredible film resume, working on so many blockbuster films and television projects, and in various positions. I'm always so in awe of people who can do a ton of different things on film, not just, one thing when it comes to, producer, director, but he does visual effects. He's done digital animation, sound designer, sound mixer, motion graphics, digital artist, and the skill set just goes on and on. And some of the projects, real quick, he worked on The Walking Dead, Last Man Standing, the film Twister, Milk, True Lies, The Abyss, Terminator 2, Judgment Day, Starship Troopers, and Men in Black. So I am super impressed with this guy. I had not actually heard of him before bringing John on, but I am now such a fan, so I am going to look him up, and I'm going to try to have him come on the show for everyone who's interested in coming on the scene in those positions. So without further ado, let's talk to the man who walks in beauty like the night, in cloudless climes and starry skies, and all the world waits for John Uddin to come on the screen. Welcome, John.
Oh, thank you so much. What a lovely welcome. What a lovely introduction.
Is that too much? Is that too much?
Oh, no, it's wonderful. I love it on a Sunday afternoon. It's wonderful.
Well, if you don't have a cocktail yet, people, get a cocktail, because we are about to be entertained. All right. So first of all, as I said, thank you so much for coming on the show. I just watched Alan Cumming and Christopher Plummer together in Nicholas Nickleby. I don't know if you had seen that film. And they were just,
yeah.
Did you ever see that? I had been wanting to see it for years and years. And then finally, last Saturday night, I got to watch it. They were both in it together. So,
yeah. I'd forgotten about that.
Yeah. Oh,
but it was with Christopher Plummer that I was working with. That was, one of the best experiences of my acting life, actually.
You must be psychic, because I wanted to know. Tell me what. Tell me. I want to know everything about your scene with him. How was he? Any kind of funny stories or interesting stories. Let us have it.
Well, most of the time, I was being sort of prepped to be working with him, and I think everybody thought that I would be nervous. But the more they were building this thing up, it was gonna make me nervous. So I just said, no. I just want to think of him as a normal kind of guy.
Right.
And so he plays my tutor. I'm the lead of this film. He plays my tutor and a sort of father figure and a mentor. And I remember before we started filming, they asked me, do I want to have a cup of tea with him and talk to him, just to kind of feel comfortable before doing the first scene with him. And I said, no, I'd just rather just go there and do it like I would with everyone else. And it just worked out perfect that way. We just went straight in the scene together, and he was so humble and kind. And I don't just say that. He was more humble and kind than I guess anyone that I've ever worked with.
Yeah, you can tell
I guess
that
also. Yeah, he's sort of softly spoken. We're a lot alike, actually. I'm not in the sense that I'm as talented as him. What I mean is, he's just very softly spoken. He's quite serious at work, and he's got a cheeky charm. But so that there's this humor there, in everything he does. But he's very sort of focused and very present with what he's doing, and that's how I like to be as well.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead, continue. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think what was interesting about it was, at the time, Santa Fe. We were shooting in Santa Fe, which was really, really hot. But round about the time that we were working with Christopher Plummer, it had gotten really cold. So a lot of the times we were, starting really early and finishing really late. But a lot of the times it was early in the morning, and it was freezing cold. and he'd be shivering. And I guess, just due to where he's at in life now, sometimes he'd be sort of not remembering some of the lines. And so, in between scenes, he'd be holding my hand and saying, "I'm really sorry, son. I'm really sorry." And I think, no, I love doing it again and again because I'm getting better at it. Like each time we do it, it's better.
That's
And
right.
it's just, so that put me at ease as well. He was
Oh,
so humble and kind. Yeah, it really was like that. So that was the best bit about the film, actually, was working with him.
oh my gosh, that is
Yeah.
the best story, because to hear about someone that you admire like Christopher Plummer, and he's just one of the greatest actors ever, and to find out that he's so
Yeah.
humble, gosh, that's so
Yeah.
good to know. I'm so glad you shared that with us, because we often hear stories about, I'm always afraid to meet my idols because I've heard
Yeah.
such stories. You never know if they're going to be egomaniacs or they're going to be so pompous and arrogant and rude. You never know. So you don't want like your idol to be ever like that. So he is one of my idols. So you really, really gifted me today with telling me that, because I sensed that he
Good.
was a kind man. I really
Yeah,
sensed that. Wow, that's amazing.
very deep, very funny, very softly spoken, and just sort of introverted, but just lovely. Very good at one-on-one conversation, and I'm like that too.
Yeah, you can tell
He'll
that.
really sit listen. Yeah.
Well, let me ask you, who is Tariq? Tell us about, first of all, tell us how you came to find out about the role. Did someone ask you to privately audition? Did you get a copy of the script? How did it come to be that you found out about the role, Tariq, and casting process in general? And who is Tariq?
Yeah. So the company who made Cliffs of Freedom, and Van Ling, the director, he wrote a TV series called Helene, and we want to make that at some point, I believe. And so I auditioned for that. I auditioned for this show, and just when I got the role, but before we started doing this show, which we haven't shot yet, they decided that they wanted to do a film first, and that was to be Cliffs of Freedom. And so they just put me in that and gave me the lead role because I'd already gotten the role in the show that we're hopefully going to do. But that's how I got to know them, and that's how I got offered the role of Tariq in Cliffs of Freedom. And Tariq is like a rising star in the Ottoman Empire. He's close to the Sultan, a historical figure called Sultan Mahmud II. He's close to him, and he's somebody who he's a colonel of the Janissaries of the Ottoman army, and he feels very strongly for the plight of the Greeks and for his own people. He just feels that the empire would be much better off if they make good use of their subjects and treat them like human beings, and treat them almost as equals, give them opportunities to use their skills and talents in the empire. And so he was trying to get the empire to not be so brutal and harsh towards the Greeks, and that's where he was coming from. And a lot of that was due to his character, and also due to his being mentored by Thanasi, played by Christopher Plummer, who's a Greek. And so he feels very strong about it. And then when he meets Anna Christina, who is a Greek peasant girl, and he falls in love with her, so even more, he's driven with this sense of wanting to help them.
What did you personally find most inspirational about your character, and why?
I'm mixed. I'm of mixed heritage and mixed race. I don't know what the correct term is these days. So I'm English and Bangladeshi, and I was raised with Islam and Christianity, and so with the Eastern and Western ideas and philosophy and values. And so I can understand, I can play devil's advocate a lot of the time, depending on who I'm speaking to. And so Tariq is very much like that. He's deeply loyal to his people and to his beliefs, but at the same time, he's open to, the values that he sees in the Greeks and that he sees in Thanasi. I can totally, resonate with that. And we're very much alike as well, in the sense of being quite thoughtful and use the word introvert again, and a little serious. I guess I'm a little like that. I'm
mysterious.
I'm somebody who sits and ponders and thinks about these sorts of things, and isn't too quick to make rash judgments or decisions about a thing, knowing that life is complex. And Tariq is very much like that.
Now, were you familiar with this part of history before you were cast in the film? Did you have to do research for it? Okay, so what is your process when you're cast in a movie or for a role and you're not familiar with the backstory, and it is I don't know how many you've done, but it is a true story or based on actual events? What's your process?
What was exciting about this film was that it was about a part of history that hasn't been dealt with very much. I think films of that period, or based on that period, have only been done, by Greeks in Greek. So this is sort of one of a kind. It's the first of a kind to be dealing with this particular part of history. And so that was exciting. And I've always sort of been interested in religion and philosophy and the history of it. And it's taken me, all through history. But that particular part, I knew nothing about. So that was exciting to me. And so then what did I do? I read on it. Van Ling, the director, recommended a bunch of books. I cannot remember them now, but different books. Some of them from the Ottoman perspective, some from the Greek perspective, and just getting an understanding of what the friction was and what the tumult was all about. And so you get some kind of idea of the context before delving into it. And then I guess I was lucky. I was able to go there, to set before, like a month before we started shooting the film, and so I was able to sort of start thinking about the character a lot before we were shooting. Think about how I wanted my voice to sound, how I wanted his physicality to be, and start thinking just in terms of that I am Tariq in a way. I'm not going full method or anything, but just kind of tailoring myself to what I think Tariq will be, and sort of immersing myself in that world way before we started filming it.
Well, now this film came out, Cliffs of Freedom came out on March the 1st. What have the reviews been like? And has it been favorable as far as in your mind? Or do you feel like it needs to get more attention in a certain area, or it needs to go to a certain market? Or what are your overall thoughts about the reviews and what they've been like?
Yeah, I mean, it's everyone that I know who have gone to see it have spoken really, really highly of it. I know many people who have gone to see it again and again. It's a really powerful story, and it's quite an experience, because it feels like you're watching, an old Hollywood epic, which really is what it is. It's really beautiful to look at, and it is a really wonderful, captivating story. It's just the fact that it is an independent film, and so it doesn't have the distribution thrust that a studio film would have, and it hasn't got that whole machine behind it, and so a lot of people won't know of its existence. And so it's been out this month, and it's as I said, it's been sort of independently distributed, and so it's gone from city to city. When it was first in New York and LA, and it was in the AMC theaters here, and then it moved into like Albuquerque and Seattle, all over the place. And it's now changing. It's sort of moving in different cities, different towns, and then it will move to Europe and England. So it'll have a London release as well. And then maybe down the line, it's going to have a bigger release. There might be plans to sort of give it a bigger release later, because it is something that will, once it's known, it will make an impact.
For the audience who's listening, who would you say would be most interested in this film, and why? Like who would you say this film is for you because you would be interested in this film because who is the target audience? Like history buffs or, people who have Greek descent or a combination. What would you say?
Yeah, it's all of those things. I mean, certainly people of Greek descent. It would, fill you with a sense of pride watching this and giving you an understanding of some of your history, and people who love history like myself to sort of to be, you're sort of introduced to an area that very little is known about. But also cinema lovers, if you like a really, really good old-fashioned type epic that's beautifully done, and it's beautiful to watch and to look at. This is that too. It's quite special. It would be hard to explain, but for an example, it's very tasteful as well. It's apart from a lot of other things, it is a romance between me and Tanya's character, but although it's very sort of understated, you won't find us making out, or you won't find any hot love scenes between us, because we felt it was inappropriate to the time that it's set in, and the actual characters that Tariq and Christina are. And so we kept it very, very tasteful in that way, and respectful. And so it is quite a special movie, that, like I said, old-fashioned type Hollywood film that you would enjoy just for being a cinema lover.
And now I'm such a fan, as I said earlier, of Patti LuPone, Christopher Plummer, and not having seen the film yet. You told us a little bit about Christopher. Were you in any scenes with Patti LuPone? And if so, can you tell us any funny or interesting stories? Like something that you would, something you'd see on under the trivia section on imdb.com,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I had no scenes with Patti LuPone, only because I was in the Ottoman world, and she played Tanya's grandmother, Yaya. And so she was in the Greek world. She was in the whole Greek part of the story. But in actual life, we had a lot to do with each other. We got along really, really well, and we were very sort of affectionate and loving towards each other. And I remember one time we had a Christmas dinner at some posh restaurant in Santa Fe, New Mexico, and we went there, and Patti LuPone was there, and we all had a really, really nice time, a really nice dinner. And I was just thinking about, it's probably time to go. We'd had a couple of drinks, and everybody was feeling, relaxed and merry. And then all of a sudden, she went for a little wander, and she went to the piano and asked the piano man to play, a tune, and she just took over and did a full-on concert in this restaurant. And it was cool. It was full of people who had no idea that she was there.
Wow.
And people were in awe. People were, bringing up. People were just so happy.
She held a full salon. She had a whole salon.
Absolutely. And it was a full-on concert. I mean, it lasted like an hour or something like that.
Oh, my gosh. What a lucky day.
Really yeah.
Oh, well, that is very interesting and funny. So what do you feel? By the way, back to, I forgot to ask it. With it being a story of involving Greek heritage, do you plan, you may not know this, but have you heard that they are going to be doing any film festivals in Greece, or how have the Greek people been responding to this film as relative to their history? Do they say, oh, it's bang on, or, there's what's going on with that?
I'm really excited for it to be released over there. I'm sure it will. And when we did a special screening of it in London a couple of months ago, and there was sort of royalty from Greece. There was high up people from the Orthodox Church present, and all of them were crying, and all of them were so elated about the film. I don't think we had anything negative said from the Greek community. I think it's all been so positive. Great. Everyone's been so proud of the film. I think it really is a beautiful accomplishment in that way.
Yeah, it's been a while. I mean,
And I'm
I can't
excited.
think. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I just was going to say I can't think of a film in recent years that really has touched upon, anything relating to the Greek heritage or the war or anything like that. So this should be very
Yes.
exciting for the Greek people.
Yeah,
Should
that
be.
would be the most exciting thing for it to see what it's like when it's released in Greece and when the Greeks get to see it. It's going to be released in Europe quite soon, so I know that it's going to be released in London quite soon.
Oh my
And,
gosh, that is so thrilling. You are just I'm excited for you. That's got to be thrilling to actually you're going to fly to Greece and you'll get to that will be so titillating. So we are just wishing we were you to experience that. Now let's move on to something that you're currently filming now, and I know you can't tell us a lot about it, but you're currently playing, am I correct? You're currently playing the character Arcade in a movie called The Code. So whatever you can tell us, whatever you can tell us.
Well, that's a futuristic science fiction film. I play a nerdy, geeky, techie character, which is something I haven't done before. So I'm quite pleased with that. I've finished filming that, but the film itself is being completed and will be released later in the year or something like that. But I had a smashing time doing that. There was a director, Tony Alupis, who's a brilliant director, and you should check out some of his films. And yeah, it was an absolute pleasure working with him. I think we'll hopefully do a sequel and a prequel to that as well.
Oh, my husband is a sci-fi fanatic, so you have to let us know when that's coming out. We have to promote that. Is it coming out next year or this year? Or you have no idea.
I'm guessing it'll be this year. But you never know. It might be next year.
That's true. With the editing, you get crazy. Well, please let us know. Please. Oh my gosh, we got to promote that. Come back on. Oh, a perfect opportunity to come back on. Yay!
Absolutely. Yeah.
Now, lastly, I told you how much I love Descenders. Now, you were on there for 6 episodes. That's quite a long time, in TV years for a TV series. Can you tell us, for all of the fans who love EastEnders, anything you want, a funny story, interesting story, what was your time like it? Did you love your character? Anything that you want to tell us about Jalil?
I mean, it was just a funny thing because I just come out of drama school, and I went into drama school not to become an actor. I just did it to keep myself busy for a couple of years because I was so confused in life, not knowing what I wanted to do, and then I felt I've got to study something, and I felt I'll study drama just because I enjoyed doing it as a kid, and it was one subject that used to reward me for being naughty. Every other lesson I'd get kicked out, but in this one, for being hyperactive and distracting, they loved me for that. So that, for that reason, I always felt at home with drama. But that's the only reason, not to be a star or an actor or anything like that. It was just somewhere where I was accepted. And then later on, when I was thinking, what do I do with this life? Goodness gracious, because a whole lot of things had gone wrong. And I thought, I'll study something. I gotta. And so I studied drama, but like I said, it wasn't that I thought I'd be an actor or anything like that. It's just I was lucky I came out of drama school and started getting auditions. And I auditioned for EastEnders, and I did a bunch in that. And yeah, that was because when you grow up in England, EastEnders is part of your supper time. It's part of your dinner time. It's part of your family time.
Right.
So, and a lot of these characters have been in it since the beginning, which means since you were, it
came on in 1985. It's been on since 1985. So who doesn't know EastEnders? It's beloved even over here.
And at that time in my life, I wasn't used to knocking shoulders with people that you know from the TV. So it was very interesting to me. It was very strange.
Oh, well, my goodness.
I enjoyed that.
I'm so happy I get to talk to someone who was on EastEnders. You just made my day in so many ways now. So many ways. Now, you just brought up something it's almost like you're psychic, because you'll bring something up and I already have it listed as something I wanted to talk to you about. So you were interviewed for a magazine called Fact Magazine, and you were asked, quote, when you were studying these methods and techniques at acting school, did you ever think you would make it to Hollywood? And was this always your professional goal? End quote. So your
Wow.
answer was something that I wanted to focus on, because I've never interviewed anyone who gave your answer. So I wanted to discuss it because I feel it will be an inspiration to those people who aren't actively pursuing a career as an actor or considering an entertainment career, but know that they want to do something creative. So your answer to that question was, and I'm not even asking you to do a memorization and use your sense memory to remember what you said, but you said, quote, when I was in drama school, I didn't think I'd be doing acting afterwards. I was a little lost in life and I just wanted to study something. I thought it would be something interesting to do and keep me busy and entertained for a couple of years. When I was there and other people were looking forward to fringe or free theater, and I thought this would happen at very best. I was fortunate to break into TV and film, and I didn't know I'd be doing this at all. I did know that, or at least I had a feeling that I'd be doing something creative and different just because of the person I am. But now it is a case of carrying on with Hollywood, basically, or going anywhere there are good roles, end quote. So
Yeah.
I know that kind of says it all, but can you elaborate just a little bit with a focus towards the inspiration aspect for our younger audience, or for people who may be a little undecided in a career path as a creative?
Yeah, I would say to, as much as possible to try and be sensitive to what is really going on inside of you. And if every decision I make in life is based upon inner desires, like if it's a true desire that's deep within me, then I think that's part of me, then that's part of how God's created me. It's part of my DNA. And so that will be something that I'll act upon. If it's just some silly influence that I've gotten from someone else, like I might have watched American Idol last night and decided I want to be a singer, that might not be as deep a motivation, especially in a job like this where it's very difficult. So I think you'd need to kind of have something inside of you and recognize that there is this creative yearning inside of you, and you do really genuinely enjoy doing that sort of thing. Then you can, take the kind of risks I did, in the sense of just going for it. And at the times when things are bad and you're not getting work and things are quiet, you just stay with it. And you just carry on. And that's what I did, rightly or wrongly. And there was no plan B, because there is no plan B. There's nothing else I'm qualified to do. So I just kind of have to.
You have tons of things. Now I know there's more. Now, obviously, I hope it's safe to say that you're a method actor. Maybe you're not, but I think that based on what I read, you are. And I found that a lot of actors are confused as to which type of acting style or methods that they should study, because honestly, after all, it can be very confusing, John, what to study when you have a ton to choose from. Like, you got method acting, you got English mask, you got Stanislavski, you got Meisner technique, Uda Hagen, Viola Spolin, blah, 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 blah. So what advice would you give someone to help them figure out what works best for them individually? Because, it's expensive. Everything is so expensive. Headshots, acting classes, website memberships. So, you can't go spending all of your money on taking a class and then you go, that doesn't work for me. What can you do?
Yeah, I would say not to get too bogged down by it. I think you can this stuff can sometimes make you intimidated by it can intimidate you. I remember moving to London when I was 19 with this kind of dream that I might go to drama school, just because I was interested in it, like I said. But as soon as I started knocking a few doors or talking to a few people, they put it on such a pedestal and they made it sound like it was something that was impossible to do. And so sometimes if you speak to too many actors who talk about this and they talk about that, they can make it sound like it's something it's not, because really acting, all it should be is instinct. It should be something that comes from you, and it's just about being relaxed and confident and being able to get over your inhibitions and, you know, find something within yourself that resonates with a character, and you're able to put that out without being nervous, and whatever helps you to do that is I think the best thing, and sometimes that's the last thing that's thought about when you're kind of worshiping these different things that are put on pedestals, like just different techniques and whatnot. It's just, I would say, don't get too worried about it, and I don't know, find something that works. Whatever.
It's hard because I get asked that all the time, John. I was like, well, should I start method first? Should I do Stanislavski? I mean, these classes out here in LA are very expensive to take. And when you know, it really, and they don't know what to start with. What would you say for a beginning actor? Because everybody's different and everything works. Like some people are,
everything works.
You know, method does not work for everybody. So.
Okay, what I would say is find a teacher that you feel comfortable with, because a lot of teachers don't make you feel comfortable. A lot of teachers are there just to kind of show off how great they are and make you feel like you need them, and they make you feel terrible, and then you keep coming back to them because you think you need them, and that's the worst thing. And a lot of acting teachers are like that, and I've experienced a lot of that, and you end up being stiff because you're overthinking, and then they knock your confidence instead of building your confidence. And so just find someone that you trust, and whatever technique that they're into, just somebody that you know that they're trying to build you up, and when you're with them, you find that your confidence is getting better and that you're losing inhibitions the more you're with them, and you're being freer the more that you're, you know, in their presence. Stick with someone like that and be really choosy. Make sure that someone like that.
What do you think? Maybe you could ask to audit the class. A lot of times, you know, you have to audit the class. Some teachers don't want to do that, but I think that you should at least ask, because if you ask the teachers who are very confident in their skill set, they're not going to mind. It's the ones who are out to make a buck that don't want to do that. So to end that question, I would say to try to find referrals from your friends and then ask to audit the class. Now, we are getting close to the end, but I wanted to, I love what you also said during that same interview with Fact Magazine. And I stress this all the time on the show, John. You said, if you're an aspiring actor, then get another skill or interest that can pay the bills when work is thin on the ground, like a barber or something you can do with your hands, blah, 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 blah. So over the past 11 years, I have tried to ask my guests on the show to list a couple of unique jobs that aspiring or working actors could do to supplement their income. And I don't really like when people go with the, typical waitress or bartender. I want jobs that people can make suggestions that they're unique. So for example, I have recently, I want to add to my latest discovery, and then maybe you could tell me about a job that you've heard. I have recently discovered there are companies that are starting up all over across the country where you could supplement your income, make your own hours to go out on auditions. And the jobs are, now people don't laugh because this is serious, they are called professional huggers and professional friend. Isn't that something, John? Yes,
wonderful.
It is. Yeah. I love it. Yes. So these people, there are companies. Now, I want to make sure that I don't want to promote these websites. So if you just Google it, just type in professional hugger or professional friends. There are various companies popping up, but I want to stress that you've got to make sure they're legitimate and professional. They must have a business license. They're listed with the Better Business Bureau, a lot of testimonials. Make sure you do your research and due diligence. But these are perfect jobs for actors and singers and models and musicians, anyone who needs a flexible schedule. But professional hugger, professional friend, dog walker. I know that I qualify for both of those things, John. I'm going to go supplement my income and be a professional hugger.
That's wonderful.
So I saw this on a television show, and I thought, "Are you kidding? No way!" And I looked it up, and sure enough, there are people where you can hire them for 15 minutes, half an hour, or an hour, and they will hug you. Apparently, people need hugs. Now, of course, we all need hugs. I can't personally see myself having a stranger hug me, but different strokes for different folks. I am not going to have a stranger like groping me, but you don't want to be groped, but just professional huggers and professional friends. So what kind of job have you heard that you may not be able to touch my hugger and friend category, but are there any jobs that you've heard of that are unique out there?
Well, I mean, I've done a few. I mean, I as soon as I came out of drama school, I did this sort of like high-level massage course. So I'm a trained masseuse, so a very high level. And I did that for a while, but then it got busy. I got into, doing EastEnders and whatnot, so I had to quit that. And then later on, like much later on, I started doing a theology degree because I care about people and I care about the communities where I live. I thought maybe I'll be a priest in the Church of England, not a vicar in the sense of like being a pastor or having people like a congregation that I'm responsible for, but just being a priest, that you're licensed, you're able to go and help out in different churches and do a service here and there, because I like all that. And so I did a theology degree, thinking that in between my acting jobs or whatever, and this I wasn't thinking money, to be honest. This wasn't a way of making money. It was more like just to do something else. And so, I did think about that. But I came close when I was in England. I came close to getting considered for ordination, so I could do stuff like that. But then I came to the States and got a little busy here, and it's a different setup here. So I haven't really thought about it since. But I was going to be a little part-time priest,
a little part-time priest. Well, you know what? It's so interesting that you said that, because we have something here where you can go on the internet and you can get yourself certified to marry people. So that's actually a gig too. Yeah, you can get your certificate.
Mine was like kind of like what you were talking about. It was more for the fact that I spent so much time with old people or disabled people, old ladies. I'd run little, when I was in England before I moved to the States, I'd sort of have little, a Wednesday lunch club with old ladies from my church and things like that. And I set all that up. And I'd like to do more stuff like this, because it gives my life meaning, and I'm able to, give to people and receive from people that way. And it's kind of like the hugging thing, really.
Yeah.
I have to be living for something more than myself.
So John, if you ever fall on hard times, remember you heard it here. You can get a job as a professional hugger and a professional friend, and then throw in your vicar skills. You'll get a full paycheck for a whole week with all of the skills, right? Oh my God. Yeah. Well, I got to tell you, it is 5:50. Can you believe we just blew through 50 minutes? Gosh. I know. Wow. People panic, John, when they hear 50 minutes. They're like, what the hell am I going to talk about for 50 minutes? Well, it just goes really fast on this show. It really does. Yeah, but sure I know. Well, you're here in LA. You're living in LA now. So the next time, maybe you could come into the radio station. What do you think?
That would be
great.
You
want to come in next time to promote your next podcast?
Yeah.
Oh my God, we are so much fun. Yeah, and you're going to get to see my professional hugger skills, because I'm quite fluffy, so you're going to get a fluffy hug. I'm fluffy around the edges. Well, thank you so much, sweetheart. I really appreciate you coming on the show. I want to make sure everybody goes out and sees his film. It is called Cliffs of Freedom. Go to the website, cliffsofreedom.com. Is it the film? Oh Lord, my mind comes and goes. I'm telling you, John, the older you get, it's like you can't remember. It's Cliff, isn't it right? Cliffs of Freedom, the film. I think
Absolutely.
that's it. Yeah, I think we got it. We got it. So make sure you go, and also please follow John on Instagram at John.Uddin, but it's spelled Uddin. So JAN.UDDIN, and he's also on Twitter. By the way, I requested you. I don't know if you're on Facebook, but I requested you as my Facebook friend, and on Instagram and Twitter. So you know what? I have 20 questions that we did not get to talk about, and we are going to have to do a to be continued, aren't we, John?
I would love that.
Oh, good. I'm glad. And you feel free to contact me directly if you, want to promote anything. And then, we'll work it out. We'll talk, as they say. Joan Rivers, we'll talk. We'll talk about it. Thank you so much, my darling, for coming on the show. I wish you the best. I want to come. Let me know, please. Somebody let me know when the movie is coming here. Or did I miss it? Was it here in LA already and it left?
It was here, yeah. It came out on March the 1st, and it was here for 3.5 weeks or something like that. But that was the plan, and then it was going to move on to other cities.
Well, next time, please let me know if it comes back to LA, because I'll get a bunch of my people. We'll get my squad, my team of professional huggers, and we're coming to the film, and we're going to hug the hell out of you. Okay, John?
Oh, I'd love that.
Great, sweetie. Say goodbye to your fans.
Bye-bye. It was really, really nice to talk to you guys. And check us out. And I'd love to see you on Instagram, and check out the film as well. Look it up, Cliffs of Freedom, and see where it's at, and go and see it.
All right. I'm going to Instagram you and Twitter you today. Thank you, sweetheart. Thanks, everybody, for listening. We'll see you next week on Question Reality. Bye.
You're listening to Question Reality with Priscilla Leona, right here on LA Talk Radio.